everyone, welcome to my channel. Let's talk Harry and Meghan. I noticed that Harry's brother was at the London Climate Action Week and he was not there with his wife. But this lady's expression is speaking for a lot of people, I know. And also, I noticed that he is making sure he is around a lot of indigenous people. I wonder why. Anyway, moving on. So let's step back for a minute to when Harry and Meghan were stepping back as senior members of the royal family, and they were planning on being half in, half out, and they were talking about, for one, no longer participating in the royal rota system. And they said this when asked, what is the royal rota system? They said, quote, the core group of UK outlets with Royal Rota access remain the predominant news source through which worldwide media organizations receive content on the official engagements of members of the royal family. These UK media outlets are the Daily Express, the Daily Mail, the Daily Mirror, the Evening Standard, the Telegraph, the Times, the Sun. End quote. So when you see these major ones that are named here and they have like a headline, we know that they're getting this information directly from the Royal Rota, and the Royal Rota is in turn getting their information from within the palaces. And then some smaller outlets oftentimes end up quoting these outlets when it comes to anything royal. And so when we see for Armed Forces Day and we see any UK outlet saying that Prince Harry is being snubbed, and then you look and you see that he's not mentioned anywhere within their carousel of photos, and you know that he served two tours of duty and he had active duty and he now has the Invictus Games. So, aside from any one sided family dispute that they have imposed on Prince Harry, this is something that he did for his country and while he was actively inside that institution. They should be ashamed of themselves. And then when you see another headline from the Telegraph with a headline that says, quote, Prince Harry and Meghan at the heart of King's funeral plans, end quote. You know it's all coming from inside one of the palaces. And we can just imagine which of the palaces that it's coming from, because there is one palace that has an urge to be king, because we can see all the briefing that he's doing about stripping the HRH from the children and all the things that are being said. By the way, this talk about the children's title, I think it's an introduction. They use that to start talking about them because they've always planned to use Harry and Meghan's children as a buffer for those children over there. And they know what they're saying about these titles. It is all false because they know that it would be up to the parliament to change the law. So this is just another way where they are laying the groundwork for starting to put out different stories. So before you know it, people's minds are trained to expect all these negative stories, and maybe people won't be pushing back because it will be, oh, never mind them, they're just, it's just the tabloids, where what they're doing is what they've always done, is trying to set the narrative and try to destroy people's lives. Moving away from those rats, we have where Prince Harry is out and about and he went to the Nexus Global Summit, and he spoke to a room of 350 next generation philanthropists, social entrepreneurs, artists, and impact leaders from more than 70 countries, where he discussed the impact of service and everyone's role in shaping stronger communities to solve the issues of disconnection and social isolation and the impact it has on people globally. So while he was there at this very serious event, he also spoke seriously about the trolling that Meghan was subjected to back in 2018.
Going back to your initial question, one of the pieces to why the digital world was so important to us is because my wife in 2018 was the most trolled person in the world. There was a lived experience in that.
And we saw it, but what we didn't know it was that it was coming from inside the palace. But also, Harry spoke about my wife. He mentioned my wife. He loves to say that, as we know. But he spoke about how early in their relationship, Meghan said to live by truth.
We realized that quite some time ago. I think in today's world, it's quite easy to be able to abandon your values, um, because some people are proving that it's easier to get to the top by lying. I'm sure that the fall from that is quite monumental. But my wife said to me very early on in our relationship, if you live your life by truth, it's the most efficient way to live. And I'm sharing this with you. So yes, we will continue to live our life by truth, and we will continue to stand up for what we believe in, the difference between right and wrong.
Harry wanting to talk about his wife and even quote his wife at events that he goes to is so amazingly sweet, even after all this time. And this is what the left behinds are afraid of. They know that Meghan is his true North Star, and together they would find success out of the institution. They knew this. They saw her drive initiative and smarts when she was in that institution, and they did everything to stifle it. And then we have where Meghan is on the beach in shorts, on the beach in shorts. This is crazy that people are literally writing a story about Meghan wearing tiny shorts. And finally, we have where Meghan is posting about her customers, fans, supporters getting their deliveries. So that is something that she's engaging with. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you like my content, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And talk to you soon. Bye.